Yeah.
I can't remember.
Justin Miller's gonna.
Bring in the left-hander. Short reliever right there.
We got 4 o'clock. Did you use the gavel? Okay. I'll call this meeting to order for the Airlake Airport Advisory Committee. First, what I'd like to do, we'll have a moment of silence for the 9/11, for the lost pilot at Airlake, and a lot of other things that are going on in this world. So we'll pause for a moment. Thank you. We'll first go around and start the welcome and introductions. I'm Tom Fitzhenry. I'm one of the co-chairs today, and I'll be leading it today. And I'll go to my right, and we'll continue.
So I'm John Bermal. I'm a co-chair as well, Lakeville City Council.
Steve Getter, a hangar owner at Lakeville.
I'm Pat Moynihan. I'm a airport user at Lakeville.
Justin Miller, Lakeville City Administrator, filling in for Tina Goodroad today.
Krista Jack, Lakeville Chamber of Commerce.
Dan Walbert, airport user.
Thank you all. We'll go ahead and look at the agenda. Does anybody have anything they wish to add or any comments on the agenda? Assuming you've had a chance to read it. Any comments? If not, I'll take a motion to approve. We have a first and a second. All in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, we'll go ahead. And right to this. Okay, the consent items. In the consent items, we'll handle it as one item. And what we'll do is we'll look for approval of the minutes of June 26, 2025, and also the aircraft noise complaints in operations. So I'll need a motion to approve that.
So moved.
We have a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And I'll abstain since I wasn't here. Okay, to the public comment period. Are there any members online first that we see? Okay. Anybody in the audience wishing to have time? Anybody? Okay, hearing none, we'll go ahead to the business items.
Correct. So first, I'm actually going to do kind of an update on the aircraft operations and noise complaints for the second quarter for 2025. Just briefly look at those numbers for Airlake. As far as operations go for the second quarter, which includes the months of April, May, and June, the airport saw a total of 11,831 operations. That's compared to 10,696 operations in 2024, if I can read that correctly. April saw 3,648 total operations, May 4,197, and June 3,986, which the June number was a little bit slightly below what we saw in the last couple of years, but May saw strong numbers as far as operation levels at Airlake. And then our noise complaints. We only had one complaint for all 3 months, April, May, and June, that was related to an operation associated with Airlake Airport. And so that one complaint was regarding a helicopter operation pretty far to the west. It was west of I-35, so I'm not sure what community exactly that's in. I think it's still in the township area, but it was west of 35. So just one complaint for the entire quarter for Airlake.
Can you tell us when that complaint is? I got an idea who it might be.
When it was?
Yeah.
I believe that was in June, but the exact date I don't have, but I can.
Oh, are you aware there's power line construction and they're using a helicopter to string the lines?
No, I was not. But and that could be the reason.
They're very
for it.
low when they do it.
Yeah.
Cover for a long time. Okay.
And do those operations operate out of Airlake?
Yes, the helicopter has been housed at Airlake while they're stringing the lines.
Okay, so that's probably what it is.
I just thought it might be associated.
Yeah.
Continue, please.
Okay. Any other questions about complaints or operations for Airlake for second quarter 2025?
Anybody on the board here?
Okay, we have airport manager update. As you can see, Sam is not here with us today because last Friday he and his wife welcomed their new baby boy Franklin, 8 pounds 21 inches, a very handsome, healthy baby boy. I'm told mom and baby are doing well, so we wish him and the family all the best. The next item I have is on Mosaic, and this is something the co-chair asked to be added to the agenda. For those of you that don't know, the FAA made an announcement, a big announcement at the Air Venture convention at Oshkosh this July, in that they had made a final ruling on their modernization of special airworthiness certification. And what this means basically is it expands that light sport aircraft category to allow more participation from those interested in getting into general aviation and recreational flying. So it's increased the performance limits like speed and weight. I believe the light sport used to only be one or two seats and a very limited weight. Now it's up to 4 seats. You could also get into turbines and retractable landing gear. So this really kind of expands those privileges for sports pilots in the hopes that that original rule that first came out in 2004, last 20 years didn't seem to really capture. It seemed to still leave a lot of people out. So the new rule hopes to encourage some more people in participation in general aviation. I believe the co-chair wanted to just bring this to everyone's attention and the possibility this could expand general aviation activity at Airlake.
I'll add one thing to it. This also allows the senior pilots that are getting older to probably still fly their aircraft.
Yeah.
Because of the new medical type things that are going on. So it will continue to have older people fly.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, and that would be my question too, in terms of how would we expect this would impact air traffic at our airport, Airlake? Do we have any idea?
I honestly don't have any idea. I mean, it's the final rule just came out. I know it was eagerly anticipated by a lot in the community, especially as Co-Chair Fitzhenry noted. My father being one of them, he was he kind of lost his medical for various reasons and is not someone who's able to get a private anymore. The light sport aircraft just wasn't going to fit what he needed, so this was an opportunity for him to get back into aviation. So it could encourage both those that have no prior experience getting into it, an easier path to get into recreational flying, as those that have been doing it for a long time but no longer meet the more stringent medical requirements of a private or other certifications.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay, the next item, which was another item that the co-chairs asked to be added to the agenda, is we were asked to look at non-local training flights at Airlake, and specifically if we could quantify any training flights that originated from the Minnesota State University Aviation Program in Mankato that were operating and coming to Airlake to possibly do training flights, whether it be touch and goes or anything else. And so it just so happens our intern is a recent graduate of the aviation program in Mankato, and so we were able to get all of the N numbers for their fleet, which I was really surprised at. Was it 50, around 50 aircraft in the fleet?
Right.
Yeah. So they have a very large fleet. They partner with North Star Aviation for their aircraft training, and so they have a fleet of Piper Seminoles and Archers, as well as Cessna 152s, I believe. So we looked at the months of July and August, and you can see there were about 17 operations in July, 38 operations in August that those aircraft did come to Airlake and perform either an arrival or departure or a touch and go. So August did see some activity, 38 operations, and most of those were during the day.
Just one question. You said arrival, departure, touch and go. We don't know if they do approaches. That's kind of been the issue.
Yeah, I don't believe that we would be able to discern specifically if they're doing a instrument approach or not, based on the data we have.
Okay, thank you.
I mean, we could make a kind of a guess based on the flight track and you know what it's doing, but it's really just a guess.
Okay. Thanks.
So are there any other questions or comments?
Sure. There's two items that we've talked about in the past that are still kind of in process and pending. That's the roadway from Cedar to Maynard Lane and then into the hangar. If we could get a status on that project, and then the runway extension.
Yes. So we actually have Michelle Ross, Director of Stakeholder Engagement for the MAC, can help respond to those
Thank you very
questions.
much for your report.
Yep.
Hi, thank you for the question. Joe Harris was on his way to help give some updates on that as well, but he was going to be a little bit delayed, so he's on his way. But if he comes in, he can give some updates as well. But my name is Michelle Ross. I'm the Director of Stakeholder Engagement. So in terms of the road and the runway extension, I just first really want to start off with the MAC and the tenants and the community is aligned in wanting to see this development move forward. We're in the business of developing our airports. We want to make this happen. We're trying to get to make it work. And so in terms of the road, we are exploring options to be able to complete the new alignment and repaving of that road as soon as possible. There are several steps that are necessary in order to make that happen. And so we are working through all of those steps. And in terms of the runway alignment, we are continuing to coordinate with the pipeline companies to fulfill the FAA's encumbrance requirements in order to be able to begin that EA process and in order to complete the runway extension.
So, okay, in terms of the road, is there anything specific that we could expect to see happening in the coming months?
Yeah. So our goal is to have some definitive information about the schedule very, very soon. So within the next few weeks, we should have additional information about the timeline and schedule for that. So we are moving everything forward as quickly as we can in order to have a firm timeline and schedule, which again, we can share out with this group within the next few weeks, I would say, in advance of the December ALAC meeting. We should have some additional updates that we can share.
Thank you.
Yeah,
That gets a lot of attention because it's important. Economically, it's important for our community. It's important for the airport users. So thank you for the work on that and the progress that we're starting to see.
Absolutely. And again, we do really appreciate, it's not every airport that in our system that has such strong support from our communities. And so we are really trying to make this work as quickly as we can.
Thank you.
So.
Any other questions while we have her?
Allowed one.
Dan?
Do you have any other details on the negotiations on the pipeline? Or any more granular details? Because that's been floating.
Absolutely. I completely understand. I know it is frustrating that it is taking as long as it has. And so I don't have any specific details on that. Again, I'm hoping to have some more details soon. I know that our senior leadership has been meeting with all of the pipeline companies. They have been meeting with FAA, trying to resolve this issue in order to restart that EA process. The latest was that they're continuing to kind of fine tune that with both the FAA and the pipeline companies to come to a resolution.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Any other questions? Thank you very much for bringing that.
Absolutely. Thank you.
So I think we're down to member announcements. So I'll start with part of another organization. So go ahead, Pat.
Yeah, I guess one of the questions I have is, I understand that there's a franchise fee that's being opposed to the various people, including my home and everybody else's. But what I'm trying to understand is it seems to be inconsistently applied, and when I try to investigate as to why, I don't understand the process, and I don't know if there's somebody that can speak about the process, because, for example, the franchise fee that the gas company charges me seems more reasonable. It's a $6 fee, and that's consistent with the residential fee. But my hangar is $16, and the residential, or that service fee is more than I pay for the electricity by quite a bit. I mean, I only pay like $5 or so a month for electricity there. But anyway, when I call the power company, they say it's the city, and I've seen email traffic saying, no, it's the power company, and all I want to know is what the process is for assigning the three categories that are listed in the ordinance. I think it's 1097 or 1094. Who determines what category various power or various services are applied in? Because clearly it says in there that it's a commercial industrial. In my personal property or my income tax here says it's a storage hangar. I can't have a commercial business there, and it's just personal property. So again, yeah, it's $120 a year or so difference, but it's the principle of the thing that I just trying to understand. So I don't know if there's someone in the city you could direct me to, or perhaps you even know.
I mean, I could try to answer now, Mr. Chair, if you're fine with that. So,
If you would.
Sure. So the city assigned, when we did the franchise fee development, and I think you might have been on the email chain on that, and we still have a lot of information on the city's website about how this whole process went about. It was a year-long discussion. The way franchise fees are assigned is based on how the utility companies, whether it's electric or gas, meters that property. And so the terms residential, commercial, and industrial, while you might not be operating it as a commercial venture, it's clearly not a residential venture. And so there is nothing besides residential, commercial, and industrial. And so it all depends on the type of meter that the utility company has assigned to your property. Mm-hmm. The city does not make that determination whether your property is residential, commercial, or industrial in the eyes of the utility. It's all up to them. The city sets the rate based on if it's a residential and then commercial, industrial, and even within commercial and industrial projects or properties, there's various levels that actually changes Between each utility as well, because not every utility charges, especially on the commercial and industrial side, differently based on how they set up their billing system.
Okay, like, see, here's my gas bill, and it's $6. When I look at
For
the,
your residential?
this is the hanger.
Okay, so the gas company then is considering that a residential meter?
Sure.
Yeah.
But then the power company says it's commercial industrial, and, you know, I mean, I guess, I'm not sure why these are different, you know.
Different companies, and they determine it differently. I mean,
So you're saying then that if I wanted to ask the process for how this was assigned by the power company, I need to talk to somebody there?
that's right.
Because I've called them twice now, and I keep getting, they keep telling me, no, it's the city, and I'm being,
Right in that the city established the fee.
I understand that part. No, I'm just asking, how was assigned the category? That's my specific question to them.
Yeah, we don't have access to their property. I mean, we didn't say this property is residential.
Okay.
We give them the rate structure, and they apply that based on their meters.
So I guess the question would be then, how do we get that reviewed? It feels like you're passing the buck to the utility company. It's not the utility company that's put this bill in place. It's the city. Do you think it's being done appropriately, as Mr. Moynihan is showing out, that one utility company is saying this property is residential, one utility company is saying this property is commercial? Clearly, these are not commercial properties. None of us are allowed by the MAC to run businesses out of our hangars, aside from Mr. Forsberg. So what do we do? I hear you passing the buck back to a utility company. The city has done this. How can we engage with the city in order to have our properties classified properly by the utility company?
If you give me your particular addresses, or if you send me a copy of your bill, we have customer service people that we can reach out to. I'll just be honest though, I don't know if you're not living there. My guess is I don't know why that one is classified as residential. Maybe it's just because of the size of the meter or how it was installed. That's what they're going to say. You know, they're going to say if it's not residential in nature, it goes into the commercial and industrial. There is not a hangar designation or anything like that.
So from the city standpoint, you're telling me you feel it's appropriate that these properties are classified as commercial properties?
I'm saying it's appropriate that they're not classified as residential.
So if I can ask
Go ahead, Dan.
another question. You had said the rate was determined by the style of the meter?
By the account, by the account, how the utility company determines your account.
Okay, so is the whole thing just a matter of semantics? If it's not residential, we don't live there. By law, it can't be commercial. Can it just be non-commercial, non-residential, and you come up with a new category?
It would have to be a category that the utility companies have for their bill.
So can we negotiate that as a group?
If you can convince the utility company to come up with a new rate category for this, then we would apply a separate, we'd have to determine what the appropriate rate would be on that utility category.
Well, if you were to reach out to the utility company, I think you'd probably have a fair amount of power.
I could do that. I don't know if they're going to, I mean, these are big companies. I don't know if they're going to come up with a rate just for, say, airport hangars. I don't know. We could certainly ask.
I think there's, I don't know how many hangar owners, but a big contingency of us in a big group that aren't being represented well at all.
It would be nice if we could have some sort of conversation with them, just to tell them what we got going on. Here's a question I got. So if I wasn't at Airlake, but I have land here in Lakeville, but I have a house, and then I have a pole barn with a separate meter, how is that handled?
It's charged by the account. So if there were two accounts, you would be getting billed, depends on how, how the utility company classifies that pole barn.
Okay.
And we have that. I mean, we have several properties in the city that have multiple meters, multiple accounts, and we've asked all the utilities if they could combine them, and they say it's on a case-by-case basis.
Okay, well, maybe we need to get together as groups. Maybe, I don't know if this is the proper format since we're kind of in the MAC, but our issue is with the power company, which is
I think our issue is with the city.
Well-
It really sounds to me like the city is passing the buck to the power company because of how they run their business.
Okay, well, we'll do note that, but it'd be fun to find out, or nice to find out from the Excel. I'm assuming everybody's got Excel?
At the hangar.
Yes, at the hangars.
To see if we can get together with them as a group, and maybe me or John will get together to see if we can have a meeting with them and find out about it.
And if I can offer one assumption too, I can't imagine that anyone that owns a hangar, if they were aware that they're being charged as a commercial property, would agree with it. I think this has been under the radar, no pun intended.
Yeah, and I agree with Pat here. Some of us, it's just open the door in the hangar half the time with LED lights. My bill's usually light except for when they plug in the plane for winter. So I'm paying more in franchise fees than I am for electricity. Okay, well, it's duly noted. We'll have to get together and figure out how to do that.
Could we have a follow-up at the next meeting?
We can put it on the agenda. Just got a question of the MAC folks. Is there any way to find out if Lake Elmo has the same situation or any of the other airports? It'd be nice to know if,
Yeah, we'll go back and ask the airport managers for our other airports if they've heard of this issue with any of our tenants.
thank you, appreciate that. Okay, so we're done with Pat. Okay. Justin, you have anything you want to add? Thank you. Next.
Thank you. A couple updates for, right now, our Visit Lakeville Convention Visitor Bureau is working with Adam. We're working on some welcome center signage out at the new hangar, still calling it the new hangar. And so we will have some welcome center with a charging station and some brochure racks, and then some beautiful artwork, I guess we should call it, right, up on there. So that's coming soon, so we're excited about that. And then we are working on, we'll be working on our Stepping into the Future event again in January that we had last winter. If you all remember, we bring all the 8th graders out to the airport and they have some career exploration experiences. So a huge thank you to Adam for donating that space. There's no other space that we have that's large enough to do that. And so he's been very gracious with that space to do that. So again, a huge thank you to him on that. And thank you on behalf of the Chamber and Visit Lakeville. Thank you to the MAC for expediting this discussion on the road. Obviously for us, tourism, and the more that we can make this a welcoming community for those that fly in and hopefully those who are going to be visiting a restaurant in the near future. It's really important to our community to have those amenities. So thank you for continuing to work on that and working with our city and with Adam.
No,
Okay, Dan, you got? Okay, are you sure? Okay. Adam?
well, hello, everyone. Sorry I was a few minutes late. I was taking care of a customer before coming here, but I would just like to actually say some positive things, okay? You know, it's kind of had a negative feel the last few months, the get-togethers that we've had this, so we do really gratefully appreciate when the ball is actually moving, okay? And we feel that there's some genuine progress, okay? So I will say that. On a positive note, we have Cirrus coming in, and it looks like we'll become a limited Cirrus service center and also a Cirrus training center. So they're coming the end of the month. We're also receiving a Noble Flight Simulator, which will be a side-by-side Cirrus sim, you know, with the parachute pole. So we'll be able to offer simulator training, Cirrus training at the airport. So that was kind of another plan, something that we've been trying to implement for a while. I guess I guess I'm kind of proud, I was looking at the airport today and there was a lot going on. I was late today because there was so much stuff going on, okay, and that's a good feeling. So, every single month we sit there and we look at these noise complaints, but it also tracks which airports are growing, which ones are not in the cities. And 5 years ago, Lakeville was dead last, okay? And we're knocking on the door of number 3, okay? We're more than St. Paul, we're right behind Crystal, and realistically, we're talking 3 to 5 operations a day passing them, okay? So it's exciting to see that. The benefit of the road coming in will benefit the restaurant and Jason back there, all right? It would allow us to have a very nice arrival departure area for people coming into Lakeville, and they're not going to be getting on a muddy road. I mean, yesterday we had a meeting out there, and everybody that drove over there left looking like they were just in a Baja. So, and that's just because it rained a little bit. And, it's washboard and it's not maintained well. Okay, so anything that we even do in the interim to improve the road, all right, I understand putting the right road in, not having to do it twice, but anything that we can do, any type of suggestions that we can entertain to actually make it a road that's a little more passable for people would be greatly appreciated. It's really hard for me to spend $10 million at the airport, which I've done, okay, and expect customers that come in and put them in an arrival departure building with the chamber and tourism, and then they have to get on a damn gravel road. So that sucks. So I appreciate the fact that it's moving forward. Barbecue. The MAC's having a barbecue. We don't know the date.
22nd.
Is it 22nd? Yeah. Okay. Of?
30 to 6:30?
So for all those that don't know, Mac usually has a barbecue, and I got it listed. I didn't bring my postcard, but it says it's on the 22nd from 4:30 to 6:30. And is that at the Mac?
The maintenance hangar.
Mac
Or
maintenance
building.
So I don't know if anybody on the staff knows about that or if I'm correct, but we're assuming I am.
No, it's definitely at the maintenance building.
Okay, so we got it down for the 22nd, 4:30 to 6:30. Is that what you got?
Yes.
Okay.
And then I guess I have one more thing. This kind of maybe goes to you, Joe. I know that we're an advisory committee. We're not a board. I mean, we could sit here, we can advise, tell you how we feel, but really, we don't have any teeth, none whatsoever, okay? I think I would like to potentially recommend that maybe a representative from the city and a representative from the airport be able to attend the board meetings up at the MAC regarding the operations at the Airlake Airport. How the decisions are made, how the money is spent, why things are happening, because we ask questions down here and we get answers, but some of them are rather vague. Okay, there's not a lot of detail. Why do we make the decisions that are made down at the airport? It's kind of important to us down here, and it'd be nice to be included in those decisions. Okay, or at least informed. How long have we been negotiating with the attorneys for the pipeline? This is now years, okay? And then we ask and we get an answer that, well, we're still doing it, but there's no real answer. We don't know where things really stand, okay? And it just doesn't, it feels like sometimes there's a lack of transparency. So, but back on the positive stuff, we're going to become a serious training center. The flights are up again 10% this quarter, and it keeps growing. So that's all good news. So, and I want to thank everybody that supports me out at the airport too. I'm done.
Okay, Steve, do you have anything for the group?
Nothing for me.
Okay, anybody online that we should acknowledge? Okay. Well, then I think we're down to adjournment, aren't we? So I'm not sure we need a motion to adjourn, so I'll go ahead, unless we have any other comments, I'll go ahead and adjourn the meeting. Thank everybody for coming.